are Americans generally happy about their healthcare system?
If you ask about particularly the healthcare, there is a huge demand and huge need for.
Tavishi Kumar is a recipient of the Indo-American Leadership Award, a two-time international award-winning entrepreneur, and the founder of Shri Advisory, which focuses on strategic India-US business interactions and expansion opportunities.
Over the past few months, there has been a clear shift in how Indian Americans and those building or planning to build in the United States are viewing the market. A recent Carnegie Endowment survey points to some hard realities. Nearly 40% of Indian Americans have considered leaving the US, 58% cite frustration with the political climate, and over half are considered about rising costs and long-term stability. Beyond the data, there are very real day-to-day pressures shaping decisions. We are seeing continued uncertainty around H-1B visa pathways and long-term immigration stability, rising cost of living in cities like New York and San Francisco, and increasing operational pressure for businesses, from high talent costs to tighter funding environments and slower deal cycles. In my view, this is not a story of decline. It's a moment of confusion, pressure, and critical decision making. For founders, professionals, and businesses, the challenge today is not access, it's clarity. What should you take seriously? What is just noise? And how do you move forward without losing momentum? So the real question is, in a time where sentiment is uncertain but opportunities still exist, how should founders and businesses actually position themselves in the US today? To break this down, I'm joined by Mr. Pramit Maakoday, President of Global Citizen Forum and Global President and Trustee at Americans4Hindus, who works at the intersection of diaspora engagement, public discourse, and business ecosystems in the United States. Pramitji, I want to start with something very real. When an average Indian today tunes into any major news channel, the narrative around America usually focuses on all the wrong things, whether it is war or immigration issues or social tensions, and naturally it shapes the perception of an average Indian person. You've been living in America for decades now. You're there, you're quite successful, quite connected in both the Indian diaspora and the business world in the US. So I want to ask you a very fundamental question, and that is, what do you think people often forget about the contributions that America has made towards the global good? And how do you think an average person should view America in 2026?
See, in recent months, what you are saying is correct. Even we are observing a lot of the Indian media and the Indian news channels. There are a lot of negative sentiment that is unnecessarily being generated. See, these two countries are great countries. India and America are great countries. America is indeed one of the best country you will ever come across, and when you live here, you will really enjoy the spirit of America. Now, there are some issues now with the current regime and some America first attitude, and small segment of people are talking a little bit about in the negative sentiment for immigration and for people who are coming from other parts of the world to America, and that is to create some kind of challenges. But by and large, this land offers you a great set of opportunities. America is known for getting the best and the brightest from around the world. Make sure the ecosystem provides them enough opportunity so that they take whatever America has to offer, innovate, make it available for American market first, and also make it available globally. So the whole world has really got lot of benefits and lot of contributions out of America. I would say if you look at the entire human civilization in last 200 or 250 years, because this is America's great milestone year, or 250 years of independence. If you look at the last 250 years, the contribution that America has given to the world is really matchless. I think we need to give a broader perspective. Just in last 100 plus years, if you talk about the whole electric ecosystem, the electricity which is there in your studio, your home, and my home, and our offices, the whole modern electric ecosystem and electric grid is the gift from kind of a contribution from America. There is a huge contribution of America in that sense. If you look at the like air connectivity, the commercial flights coming from the Wright brothers in Ohio, what they invented. Later on, it became the so many commercial flights that we are flying. It is kind of again a innovation coming out of America to the world. The cars, the assembly line, the Ford Motors and the Ford cars, which has really made car accessible and cheaper around the world. And now we are seeing so many different variations of that, and the whole world is benefited. Similarly, if you look at the healthcare sector is again another big sector where America has a huge contribution. Just one example, like anesthesia. I live in Boston, so near Boston is at Mass General Hospital. The first anesthesia in modern science has been given. So the pain-free surgeries is the gift from kind of America to the world. When you look at telemedicine, the first telemedicine centers and first telemedicine offering was started between the MGH hospital in Boston and the Logan airport of Boston. And today, even the remote places in, for example, if you talk about Jhabua in Madhya Pradesh or Orissa tribal places, the tribal people can connect to the major hospitals in the major cities of India because of the telemedicine. So that is another small example I could give that is America has given to the world. Like that, the list goes on and on and on. And now, when you talk about the recent innovation in artificial intelligence, but let's take a step back. The entire digital revolution, that is, the internet had started from America. It has started in the some defense organization of America. American defense has not kept it only for themselves. They made it available, and they made it available for the civilians. They commercialized it, and then the whole world is reaping benefit of digital revolution. When I say digital revolution, is your internet, your WhatsApp, your smartphone, your Android phone, your iPhone, your Google, your Facebook, your Instagram, the everyday communication, the list goes on and on and on. The artificial intelligence, the chat GPT. Now, other people later on copy it or clone it, that's different. But the real innovation, the original innovation comes from this great land of America. And it's not that only America is inventing it. It is like the Indian Americans are also significantly contributing to that. Indian Americans, they come here, they take this opportunity, convert this into great products, and make it offering to the whole world, to America and to the whole world. So when Indian Americans are contributing in America, the whole world is becoming a better place, not just America and not just India. So I think that's what I'm saying, that American contribution should also be looking at from a different angle. Only talking about war and America is bullying Iran and other things, that narrative is wrong. There are certain issues which we can talk in detail about the war issues. But in general, if you look at the 250 years of American independence and what America has given to the world, the list I just given you is a sample, just a subset. If I go on and on and on, the whole 1 hour will be less to continuing with the American contribution. So people should understand that.
I think it's great that you mentioned about the Indian diaspora in the US as well. So I want to ask you something that is connected to that. I mean, of course, we've already spoken about the mixed sentiment that is around the narrative of how people are viewing America in 2026. I mean, there's some hesitation, there's some optimism, but if I talk about just the Indian diaspora for a second, there is a Carnegie report just came out, and I'm pretty sure you're aware about that. So I just want to understand, like, what are the concerns of the Indian diaspora within the United States, and do you think that they are real, or is it just a narrative that is being built?
I think, see, it is not as widespread as what that report is saying, or I haven't, to be honest, gone into the details of the report. But yes, there is a negative sentiment which has built in last 1 year or so, and there are many factors behind it. But by and large, Indians are still being welcomed. And as I said, the Indians, the average Indian talent, what used to come for last 25, 30 years on through H1B route and other visas systems, that has been now got a little bit pushback. The If you have to come to America, America still welcomes you if you are the best and the brightest, and it is always the land for the best and the brightest. So you need to have a above average skill. The average with average skill set, you cannot come to America that easily. And there is a reason behind it as well. With the advent of artificial intelligence, there is a lot of job losses that is happening with the American mainstream. Job ecosystem also got really affected because of that. A lot of Americans are losing jobs. So that is very hard when American mainstream Americans are also losing jobs. Why to get people with every skill set from other countries, not just from India. Every other country, there will be a pushback, and there is a pushback. So, but if you have a real talent, and particularly in the cutting edge sectors of artificial intelligence or defense or digital health and few other areas, and even few other areas like nursing and others, there is a scope for people to come to America and we get assimilated with America. And there is also one question: people, the Americans who are hardcore Americans here, who are living here for generations, they are also feeling that there is some kind of dual loyalty. It's not for India per se, but many people from different parts of the world, when they come to America, even after 20, 30 years, somehow their loyalty is split between their country of origin and country of America. Now, Americans this time are demanding that you should be loyal to America first. If you are American citizen, your first responsibility is towards this great land, to make this a better place, to make this a great place, and then also contribute to the America as well. There is still a global sentiment, but by and large, that sentiment has turned from globalization to America first and to taking America's interest first.
This was exactly what my next question was going to be about, because the current regime in America, the current administration in America has very openly said that their agenda is America first this time. So I want to understand from you in a little bit more elaborate sense that is America first equivalent to reduced opportunities for immigrants, or specifically Indian immigrants, or is it otherwise?
No, see, America first doesn't mean that India last, but definitely there are opportunities have reduced little bit for average skill set people, whether it is from Indian origin, Chinese origin, or even from Europe. If you are an average skill set person this time or this part, or in with this regime, it's not that you are as welcome as you were there for last 25 years. There is definitely a resistance to that. You have to be above average, you have to be really good, really bright, then you are welcomed here. So from that sense, yes, there is a reduced opportunity, but if you have a special skill set, if you can bring great actionable, affordable, accessible solutions, you will be welcomed in America.
That's great, because now I want to actually dive deep into the real decisions that businesses have to make in the US. And, because of the current geopolitical situation and the economic uncertainties in the US, and you're a better judge on what is exactly going on ground. But I want to understand from you, from a business point of view, are investors currently saying no to funding businesses that want to expand in the US at this point in time, or are they just being selective?
No, as I said, say capital flow, which used to be there for last 5, 7 years, it has seen some kind of extra scrutiny, extra filtering. So you have to make sure that you bring a real value proposition to America, or when you are going in front of investors. You need to have at least two additional round of screening when you are coming up with some kind of investment. So capital investment is still there, but it is there in the specific sector. Again, for deep tech, there is a capital available. For healthcare, there is a capital available. And once again, the capital available, because of the political sentiment and the environment, people are asking what is the real contribution and value you are offering to America as well. That's one of the additional questions that people bring nowadays. If you are building some solutions which is only for your own country or your own geography, and America is not part of the equation, there is some segment of investors are looking at it negatively. You need to bring contribution to America, and as well as making a global product, then yes, it is very much acceptable. And I keep going back: if you have actionable, affordable, accessible solution that takes care of America as well as the world, then definitely the capital is available. But you need to have that extra scrutiny and extra level of screening and filtering as part of the process, and you need to get that baked in your mindset when you're presenting. Second, the compliance has also become a little stronger. Earlier, it is easy to get things cleared and passed and get all the approvals. Now the compliance is a little bit more stringent and stronger. So you need to spend a little more time and effort on that as well.
Right. So, because, a lot of businesses might be watching us and they would want to understand, like you've mentioned very pragmatically, that, they are just being selective and they're not saying no, but you need to have a certain potential, and also see America first, agenda is taken care of. So I want to understand, what are the two or three things maybe that you can suggest to businesses that want to expand in the US at this point in time, or are entering the US for that matter, two or three things in a checklist that they should focus on before they even think about entering the states?
So see, there's sectors. If you're asking for which sectors they should focus on, then the sectors are Like defense tech is one area, defense technology, deep technology that includes the uh, artificial intelligence factor and machine learning and all the latest and the greatest technologies. Once again, to make sure that you are providing affordable solutions. There is lot of appetite for affordable solutions right now. Right now, America is inventing a lot, but in healthcare space or in defense tech or in digital world or in deep tech, there are solutions, but they are not as affordable as America wants. Right now, the solutions are quite pricey, expensive. So if you could come up with actionable, affordable, accessible solutions for America, definitely there is a big appetite for that. And it is across the sectors, but particularly three, four sectors like clean energy is one area. Then second, this defense technology is another area. Deep tech in AI and healthcare, biotech and life sciences. These are the areas where there is a huge scope. If you look at outside of that, there is a big nursing area I can cover in this, but that is a big in this question or some separate question. But there is definitely a big requirement in the nursing space as well. Like America has more than 800,000 nurses shortage right now, and then India or countries like India can provide great solutions with that. But that some government to government effort also has to be there. G to G level effort need to be there so that you can see what kind of uh, clearances that are required could be expedited. And that's where this government level intervention is required. But once that is cleared, there is a humongous scope for Indian businesses to provide nursing and overall in healthcare space if you have affordable, accessible solutions.
Okay, so defense, clear energy, and deep tech are three
Yeah.
sectors you mentioned. And apart from that, of course, nursing that you've elaborated on is something that is a shortage in America at this point. So definitely that's quite insightful. So I think Pramit, I'm sure you're aware about the anti-brain drain discussion and debate that is going on in India at this point in time. And it is very important for businesses because they want to make a decision. And even, I mean, this is more relevant to the Indian diaspora in the States. And do you think, although we've already touched on this before, but I want to understand, is this debate even relevant? Are we misunderstanding the big picture, or are we looking at a shift, a long-term shift that is coming?
I think I would say the brain drain is kind of a like a brain circulation. You come from India, you learn here, and then if you there are opportunities on both sides. Like India is also growing significantly, and there is the between the capital available in India itself is now significant if you have a good solution. So if you're going back to India, you can get the capital inflow from US to India, or from India itself, you can get that capital inflow. So I think this is a brain circulation is happening, that you're studying something in India, you come to America, learn here, and then you have opportunities on both sides of India as well as in America. So brain drain, I wouldn't call it that it's that a bigger issue. Again, if you are an average skill set person, if don't have offer if to so if you don't have anything to offer in the innovative space with the latest and the greatest technologies, then the life is little harder. Then you might have to go back to India. If not, then you can definitely remain here. There are so many pockets in America where innovation is thriving. Like one is like in Boston, the whole Kendall Square ecosystem. That is the Boston and nearby area. Kendall Square is known as the most innovative square on planet Earth. There are more than if you walk for 15 minutes, there are more than 10, 12 sitting Nobel laureate in that area. In 2 mile radius, there are 100 plus Nobel laureate that has come out so far from that area. So like that, if you go in the California ecosystem, whether it is Silicon Valley or Sanford or John Hopkins near Washington, and then Austin is a great area, Raleigh, North Carolina, there are 5, 6 pockets. They are doing extremely well for innovative solutions. And coming up the solutions, and again not only for America but for the whole world as well. So there are great institutes and there is a great set of opportunity. Now Indians have to understand that they have to make sure that take that set of opportunities and create into a great contribution for themselves, for their businesses, and for both the countries and even for the world.
Pramaji, I want to touch base on another connected piece, and I want to understand from you that since America, invests so much in its healthcare sector. I want to understand from you in detail about, are Americans generally happy about their healthcare system? And also, want to understand that what are the other sectors that America wants to work on in its own land?
If you ask about particularly the healthcare, there is a huge demand and huge need for new solutions because America spends more than $5 trillion on healthcare every year. Just to put in perspective, the entire India's GDP is around 4 point some trillion dollars, whereas in the healthcare sector alone, America spent 5 trillion. But if you ask 100 Americans, are you happy with the healthcare system? Majority of say no. So it's not that the America is not spending enough on healthcare system or the technology solutions are not there. No, but there is an overall ecosystem. There is a lot of things that need to be re-engineered, and the whole processes need to be reconfigured or relooked at, and there's so many changes need to be done in the area. So that's a huge scope in healthcare alone that you can see. Any innovative solutions, you need to deep dive, and you will find a lot of low-hanging fruits where you can bring the solutions, where you can bring the changes, and that will definitely impact in reducing the cost of healthcare and improving the quality of the healthcare solutions. So in that area, definitely there is a big scope. I keep talking about the nursing shortage. There is a huge amount of nursing shortage in America. More than 800,000 nurses are shortage. So even if you could just bring, say, 50,000 nurses from India, which are highly skilled, English speaking, those who have cleared the NCLEX exam and the licenses exams are there. And in India, you will have a lot of those resources because people have 4 years of nursing degree, they have a couple of years of experience, they are good at their English speaking abilities, and they can, with some effort, they can clear these NCLEX and other licensing exams, and even TOEFL for the English proficiency, although in many states you don't need that. But if you could provide all these credentials, then definitely there is a big scope that you will be able to come to America in that space, in the nursing and the healthcare space. And again, if you do some kind of wellness course or yoga, naturopathy course, that brings that additional aspect or the additional angle where you can work together. But there also, I would request both the governments to work more with each other so that the issues about long wait time for the visas or the special, if some special visas need to be carved out, we can work out. And that's where the Indian Americans, people like me who are already here for so long, we can work with the political lobby, with the bureaucratic lobby, and get those hurdles cleared in next couple of months. But that's a huge area where we can. Healthcare is definitely a big area where one can work. India always bring that wellness angle, or that prevention is better than cure angle. So definitely that area where Indians are good at, of bringing yoga, naturopathy, even some part of Ayurveda into the mainstream American medicine system, and work closely and create some solutions and prototypes which could be validated, which could be verified with the American standards. Then there is a billions and billions of dollars of opportunity will open up for Indian businesses there.
That's great. I think that's a huge gap that Indians can focus on. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, regarding the other sector that you were asking, that see, nuclear energy is one area. The energy, in the energy space, again, energy space is huge. People want to get less reliant on the oil because, as you have seen, that whole war situation, the choke points that has really put a constraint on the supply chain of the oil supplies. That also is one reason. But other way also, nuclear energy is relatively clean energy, relatively cheaper, and it is a long-term solution. Like a country like India, where you are looking for a young population, energy demand is growing every few months. And it will be hard to cope up with the solar energy or the wind energy and other alternate sources. You need to get into the nuclear energy sources, and nuclear energy is quite safe. It's not that 30, 40 years or 50 years ago, what we used to talk about, hey, nuclear, if there it could be a recipe for disaster or catastrophe. No, it's not like that. The latest technology is very, very safe nowadays. These SMRs, the small modular reactors, and there are large companies in America who are working in that space. And for them, there is a big opportunity for them to go to India and work together with Indian companies. And Indians can also come here and work with some solutions in that nuclear space. There is some renewed interest in America also in the nuclear energy, and India has open-heartedly now asking people, best people from all over the world to come into the nuclear space. They are talking about more than 100 gigawatt of nuclear energy sources to be developed in India. Just to put in perspective, 1 gigawatt cost you around $3 to $3.5 billion. So 100 gigawatt, you are talking about 350 to 4, yeah, somewhere around 3 to $350 billion. That's a massive opportunity right there. And then that is just the capex, then the opex. So every year there will be a lot of spend on that area. So yes, expertise from both the sides, India and America, are required in the energy space, and both can work together and can come up with great solutions.
Right. I'm sure it's a huge market to look at. That's quite insightful, Pramit. What we are increasingly seeing today is that a lot of Indian businesses want to explore the US, but they often don't know where to start, who to speak to, or how to approach the market correctly. That's exactly what we are trying to solve at Shri Advisory by helping businesses connect with the right people, participate in focused business discussions, and explore practical opportunities for growth in the US market. So if you are someone looking at the US seriously, whether as a founder, professional, or a business owner, feel free to connect with us. And lastly, I just want to understand, like, for someone who genuinely is exploring coming to the US, can you expand a little bit about H-1B or the places that you recommend, the cities and the states that you recommend that they should start exploring when they
See, H-1Bs, as I keep repeating, the H-1Bs or any work visa is getting more and more difficult in the current regime. There are two reasons: because there is too much of influx of immigrants to America. So in general, they want to put a check on that. It's not that it is anti-India or anti some country. It is in general the influx of immigrants, legal as well as illegal. There is a big problem of illegal immigration as well, and at a political level, it is hard to differentiate between a legal immigrant and illegal immigrant. And I think Indians need to make a significant effort in that space as well. When I say Indians, are the successful Indians who are living in America for so long. They need to get politically active. They need to get politically engaged. We need to do good amount of fundraising, because that's how it works in America. That you need to do good amount of fundraising in America to get good relationship with the local politicians, and then create atmosphere that local politicians understands the difference between legal immigrant and illegal immigrant, so that Indians will be much more respected, because very small percentage of Indians will be illegal immigrants. Most of them are well qualified, highly skilled immigrants, but just being a master's degree from India or from US is not at all good enough nowadays. You need to have some real extra edge and above average aptitude and attitude, like IQ, to be successful in America. And if you are having those kind of skill sets, then yes, then in America, there is a scope for you to come to America, make good money and good contribution for yourself, and back to your motherland or to America. So I keep repeating myself. Now those days are over when an average skill set guy from anywhere from the world can come to America and survive and flourish. Survival is still okay, but you will not be able to flourish or not to get that American dream that most of you or most of us talk about.
Thank you so much for sharing the pragmatic solutions to all my questions, Pramit. I think this is really helpful for the businesses looking to expand in the United States. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.